Good morning to everybody. Welcome. The Whistleblower House journey started on the 22nd of February 2022 when we opened our doors. And since then, we've been on a learning journey. It has been 3 years, it has been hectic. And because this is a world first, we had nowhere else to go to ask, how do you do this? How do you do that? So it has been a learning journey, crazy learning journey. And every day we learned new things. What we have been trying to do, and we've taken conscious decision to take our journey in stages. So the first stage was to stabilize, to understand what whistleblowers need. And those were the four categories that we provide. It's legal, psychological, financial, and security. We had to understand how do we give those, how do we provide this offering? We had to raise funds. And then we had to do our internal processes to make sure we can actually deliver those services. And that has been challenging. So we have been moving on since then. We have in the period also built up a phenomenal team of service providers that deal with both legal stuff as well as the psychological, and many people that will talk, and we'll have somebody specifically talking about the experience later today. Point I'm making is it has been a learning journey. And what we've done over the last 3 years is as we move on in the different phases, we've actually developed documentation, we've done research, we've reached out to our clients, the whistleblowers, to find out exactly how they experience, and we've received some excellent feedback. When I say excellent, both good and bad, and we've had to go back and rethink how we do things, and we've improved. We've also developed guidebooks, four guidebooks for the four categories that we work with. And those are available on the website. The next phase obviously was to have a knowledge management system. And that's the reason why we're talking here today. The knowledge management system, which we will refer to KMS in the session, is to make available all the documentation that we can get our hands on, make sure that it is proper, it has been vetted, it actually makes sense. Then we put it on the website in the KMS system so that people can actually go there and find that. So, very simplistically, you will find the guidebooks for legal. What should you be doing before you blow the whistle? How you should be blowing the whistle? Who do you contact? How do you manage yourself after that? So the guidebook for legal does that. That has now been incorporated into the knowledge management system. The psychological one, it is when you have blown the whistle, you are suffering psychologically, you've lost your job. How do you cope with that trauma? How do you cope on a day-to-day basis? How do you take care of your family? Those things have been captured in the psychological book, and that is on the website. But the claim is significantly more than that. Simplistically, looking at the knowledge management system, you'd look at it as a library, but a library on steroids. And today is about sharing with you how to use it, what is available on the website, on the knowledge management system. And then a little bit later, we've got somebody very special, and I'll do that introduction at the time, a very special person that talks about their journey with whistleblowing and how the Whistleblower House was able to actually walk that journey with him. And that experience, I'm hoping, will share and give some insights into what the whistleblowers deal with every day. I'm looking forward to a very insightful session. I'm absolutely excited about today, and the links will be shared online as we move on. So you'll be able to click on it as we move on, etc. So welcome. I hope you enjoy the session. We're looking forward to your feedback, to your questions, and we look forward to engaging with you in the future, making this available, because this is not a static tool. We'd like universities to use it, researchers, uh, postdoctoral thesis, masters. We would want to grow and we'd like to share our knowledge with the world. I thank you. I hope you enjoy the session the way I do. Let me introduce you to Erin Klazar. She will do a technical run through the system, show you where it is at, and then we map our way forward. So there'll be two sessions. So one is Erin, and then the second part will be done by Werner Kuchelenberg, who will then talk, and then I will then introduce Siseko. Erin? thank you for being available, and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben, and good morning to everybody. I hope that today's session will be informative for everybody. And today, as Ben said, we're going to have a look at what this knowledge management system is. Myself and Wagner and our team have had the pleasure of working with Whistleblower House in developing this knowledge management system. And so we're very happy to present this project on behalf of Whistleblower House today. But I think let's start with the very basics. I think Ben touched on a few of these issues about what exactly is a knowledge management system, other than quite a mouthful. As he said, we're going to refer to it from here on out as a KMS, because it's going to try and say knowledge management system over and over again is I'm bound to trip over that at some stage. But essentially what a KMS is, or what we've termed here for the Whistleblower House a knowledge hub, is this place to capture and store and share collective knowledge and information. The Whistleblower House has learned so much over the last few years from whistleblowers themselves. They've been able to collect data, collect experiences, and it would be a waste to not be able to share some of that in a responsible manner. So really this KMS is designed with the goal to provide access to valuable data, acting as a support function essentially for future whistleblowers, or even current existing whistleblowers, and even also their support communities. So your family and your friends and the communities around you. The one thing that we need to just also highlight about this, in case there is a feeling of concern, is that the KMS, it is an extremely unique resource. As Ben said, there's not really anything like this done in the rest of the world, this ability to collect this sort of real world experience data from whistleblowers. But the data that is collected and shared on this platform is anonymized. It's there to really help people, or anybody who has or is thinking of blowing the whistle, to understand your landscape a little bit better, to understand the processes and risks around blowing the whistle. But at no point does any of the information contained in the Knowledge Hub, in this KMS, does it ever point to specific individuals. It is really more about speaking about experiences and sharing that collective knowledge. So let's jump in. When you open the knowledge management system, the Knowledge Hub, you're going to access this page. So this is your landing page. This is accessible via the Whistleblower House website as well, the main site. But here you're going to enter the Knowledge Hub. There's two important links just on the front page. The first link is the access to data and research. And I'll come back to that in a few minutes. Because that's the sort of core of where a lot of the data analysis and so on will be stored. But if you scroll down a little further, you'll see that there's actually a link to say if you have any questions, or you want to know anything that is sort of the most frequently asked common questions from whistleblowers, this is where you can go. The reason this is created, and there's two components here, is really because we have found that there are a lot of very similar questions from people who are thinking of blowing the whistle, or who have blown the whistle, about what impact it's going to have on their lives and what processes and so on that they need to follow. So if you click on this, you'll see that it'll take you to a frequently asked questions page. The frequently asked questions, there's some general questions, things like, do you want to know a little bit more about the Whistleblower House? When is the best time to actually contact the Whistleblower House in your entire journey? So do you contact them before you blow the whistle? Do you contact them only afterwards? And it's actually advisable, for instance, in this case, that you contact them before, so that they can implement the support that you need, especially from a legal perspective. If you want to know more specific things, especially around 4 support services that the Whistleblower House offers, which are legal matters, there's some frequently asked questions about how the legal support works. Can you report crime and corruption to the Whistleblower House, etc. The psychological support function, how do those support services work? Who pays for these sessions and so on? So these are all important questions that you might want to know about. The third support function, which is financial support. How do you apply for funding? How long is it valid for? I mean, these are, if you're trying to make your plans as you go along in the process, these are important things to ask. And then the fourth one, which is security support. So if you have any concerns about your safety or security as you want to blow the whistle, these are there. But the website has another lovely little addition to it, which can help you a little bit more, and that's Wispy. So you would have seen on that original link, you can ask Wispy. So Wispy is this little guy in the corner, the bottom right corner, saying hi there. You'll see his little wave. If you click on this, this is a little AI chatbot. So this little AI chatbot is able to answer your questions based on knowledge that it is actually building as we build the Knowledge Hub. So everything that goes into the Knowledge Hub, all the research that is done, the articles that we collect from the industry, especially the guidebooks that you've received a link to, those guidebooks that have been generated by the Whistleblower House. Everything has been basically fed to this little AI chatbot, and Wispy can answer your questions. So if you want to ask a specific question about financial guidance or psychological guidance, so if I want to ask how long can I receive financial support, then you can ask Wispy this question, and I hope for the sake of this presentation that he will answer or she will answer. We haven't yet decided what Wispy is. But here you go. So the duration, I'll give you a little bit of an answer and then also refer you to the guidebook for reference. So this AI chatbot, as I said, is in further development as well as time goes on, as more information is fed to it, and you'll be able to ask it questions. So that's the sort of frequently asked questions page and the little Wispy chatbot. Really great starting resource for you. So what about the data and research? So if you click on Access Data and Research, what comes up is essentially what is the knowledge management system or the Knowledge Hub. And you'll see it starts off by just saying, welcome to the Knowledge Hub. It gives you a little bit of a background of what the Knowledge Hub is or what the system is actually designed for. But on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's this drop-down that allows you to open up additional resources. So in these, there will be learning resources, some reference material. If you expand the reference material, you'll see that there are links to, for instance, specific legislation around whistleblower protection. And if there's any changes to legislation, there'll be these additions added to the knowledge management system. There are links to international whistleblowing protections, and then publications in South Africa from a variety of stakeholders that also might have additional information available on support for whistleblowers in South Africa. One organization, for instance, being PLAF, Platform to Protect Whistleblowers all around Africa, and they have a footprint here in South Africa as well. The Research Hub, this is really a space for Whistleblower House specific research that's being done. For example, and I'll connect this in a little while to the data dashboards that we've created here. But some whistleblower research, like for instance, what is a whistleblower's employability after blowing the whistle? So there's some facts that are being pulled from international frameworks and so on. Some of the employment challenges that are faced in the South African context. And this is, as I say, linked to another section of the knowledge management system, which I will showcase in a few minutes, as well as some additional content that is being created through vodcasts, which we're very excited to be coming soon. So as time goes on and as the Whistleblower House engages more with whistleblowers and begins to understand the effects and challenges that whistleblowers are facing, maybe the gender divide. So what if you're looking at the data that's coming in, are they more female than male whistleblowers, or the other way around? And what could be the things that are actually creating those differences? And also, for instance, age differences. So what is the average age of a whistleblower, and what are the factors that might actually influence that age difference, whether that be in South Africa or worldwide? Policy briefs will also be added as they're generated. Links to some publicly available information will be coming soon. And then case studies from around the world. So these are really nice. These are looking at sort of case studies, particularly from South Africa, reading some of the experiences and the disclosures that have been made, for instance, from South African whistleblowers. And, you know, what have they gone through? What were the consequences to their actions? What kind of support did they have? You know, what were their general experiences? And all of that in the Research Hub will slowly be developed. So let's go back to the main site. So again, if you want to access any of that data and research, it's either through this main link that you can see this access our data and research red button on the main page, or if you click on resources, the drop-down menu, you can also go straight to the Knowledge Hub, and that's where you will find all of this information again. So I'm going to pop back home again, sitting on this homepage, and now I want to go through some of our more multimedia-orientated resources. So if you click on this drop-down menu again for resources, you'll see another link to data dashboards. So this is where we've taken the anonymized data from whistleblowers or people who have applied to become a supported whistleblower at the Whistleblower House. This is about really gaining insights into whistleblower application trends. These are data dashboards specifically from the Whistleblower House. This isn't from any other data source, but this is looking at what are South African whistleblowers applying to Whistleblower House experiencing, or what are the trends there. It's really just key metrics about submission volume, the case outcomes, demographic and issue categories. This is promise all anonymized. There's no way of knowing you know, who sits in what category. So it's really just to try and understand our whistleblowers better. So we first start off by just asking a few questions about the Whistleblower House in particular. So this is still a work in progress. I'm going to skip that first one because that one's still a work in progress. But we want to ask, like, what kind of support does the Whistleblower House offer? So you would have heard those 4 support categories that I went through on the FAQs and what Ben also mentioned a little bit earlier. And these 4 support categories are legal support, psychological support, financial, and security. So what does this data actually tell us? This is really about what support applicants are asking for when they submit a form. So if you go onto the Whistleblower House's website, if you are an existing client to them, you would know this already, but if you are thinking of asking them for assistance, you go on, there's a form that you fill out. And in that form, you say, depending on the circumstances that you find yourself in, you're going to ask for legal support. If you have been, perhaps if you're going through a disciplinary process or some sort of labor-related issue based on the fact that you blew the whistle on something, you're going to need legal support. I can't tell you the exact number now. I'm sorry, maybe Ben would be able to jump in with that. But of the over 400 whistleblowers that have applied to the Whistleblower House, you can see here that 355 of them have asked for legal support, 191 people have asked for psychological support, 125 for financial, and 116 for security. These graphs will be updated on a regular basis. And also just to know that 95% of the people who apply to Whistleblower House have received some form of support or another. So the question is, maybe why are the other 5% not receiving support? It may be that their situation wasn't a whistleblowing situation as such. There are some people who would maybe apply because they're having a dispute at work, but that doesn't really fit into the criteria of whistleblowing. So then we want to know, what about the whistleblowers themselves? So this really starts to bring out some really interesting demographic information about the whistleblowers. In this case, of the over 400 whistleblowers that have applied to Whistleblower House, it's just under a 50-50 split. So they seem to be more male than female whistleblowers. In this case, we can say, well, this is who have applied to Whistleblower House. We don't know how, if this is an accurate representation of whistleblowers across the board. But this is a way of us also asking further questions on, what would encourage a woman versus a man to blow the whistle, or what discourages them to blow the whistle. The reporting age, it's very clear that most of the people who are reporting or who are whistleblowers are between the ages of 46 and 55. Some of the issues some of the factors that might influence that is maybe their position in the company, their feeling of stability, their feeling that they can actually come forward. Maybe because of the position of their company in the company at that age, they may have access to more information, or they may have sight of more wrongdoing. So it's a number of factors that it really could also include their ethical development and tolerance and generational maturity. And then just in terms of who has applied, where we can see, where we have been able to retrieve data on what province they're from, where they have given us that information, we see that most of the whistleblowers are coming from either Gauteng or the Western Cape. And that's quite an easy one to explain, considering that the business hubs of South Africa, the main business hubs, are in Gauteng and the Western Cape. So it's just a more likely scenario. And as time goes on and we identify the most common factors or threads, these dashboards will continue to grow, and we'll be able to provide this information, or this sort of collective information or collective knowledge to the public. This is also the type of information that would really be useful to academics, or those that are working through trying to identify patterns or concerns around what it means to be a whistleblower, especially in South Africa. Further down on the resources list, so we go back to that drop-down menu so we've got the Knowledge Hub, where we've got all of this information. And I also wanted, to indicate on the dashboards, you'll see there's links, for instance, to the Whistleblower guidebooks or to research. So that research paper that I showed you in the Knowledge Hub that referred to the reporting age, it links through from the dashboard. You'll see there's a link to the Whistleblower guidebooks. So if you click on the Whistleblower guidebooks, you'll see it takes you back actually to the main page of the Whistleblower House. But here are the guidebooks for you to download at any time and read. You'll see under Whistleblowers on the main page of the main Whistleblower House website, you can go back to the Knowledge Hub through that link. Takes you back to this website. There's some additional training materials also linking back to the Whistleblower House website. But this one is a nice one. It's the video and podcast hub. So you want to watch some of the videos that are available. They are on YouTube, but we've linked them through on this website as well. If you want to watch videos from whistleblowers or interviews that have been done that can just sort of help you understand better the plight of whistleblowers and the experiences that they've gone through. So for instance, we've got these stories of courage here, and you can just click on it. You can click on the little arrow below each video to get a little bit more of a description of what the video contains. Here, this is a story from attorney and whistleblower Rosemary Hunter, her experiences at FSB after blowing the whistle. So there's another whistleblower story here. There's some media interviews as well that you can watch, and then also whistleblower interviews. So what's coming soon is this, the TWVH vodcasts, which are currently in production, is another wonderful resource that is coming through with the KMS. And these are interviews that have been done, video podcasts that have been done, that will be made available on multiple platforms as well as on the site. from experts talking about the support services that the Whistleblower House offers in legal and psychological support, a little bit of input from faith-based organizations about what the support that whistleblowers need and the journey that whistleblowers have to go through, and then also some firsthand experience from whistleblowers talking about their journey, what they've gone through, and how the challenges that they faced and the things you sort of need to understand and know about before you go through this journey. Okay, and that brings us essentially to the end of the demonstration here. There are obviously there's the main links to the FAQs if you want to go back. There's some links as they are on the main website to actually apply for assistance. So if you find yourself on the Knowledge Hub, you can actually also apply directly for assistance from here as well. And this will take you to the form that you need to fill out to apply for assistance. And then also some quick links that take you back to the main page. So, and last but not least is you'll see that the actual web link to this, it's exactly the same as the whistleblowerhouse.org. It's just with the little intro there, knowledge.whistleblowerhouse.org. So you can be rest assured that this is in fact part of the Whistleblower House website. This is not a different site at all. It's just a little portal to a separate section for you to be able to access more information, get a better understanding of what it truly means to be a whistleblower and the things that you may need to consider, that you may have to face if you decide to blow the whistle. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to hand over to Wagner now, if there are any comments or questions that we can help answer about at least the structure of the website and the contents of the Knowledge Hub of the KMS.
Are there any questions that people just want to put in the chat so that we can answer them? I'll just give a couple of seconds. Nobody. Okay. As I said to you earlier, Siseko is a client of the Whistleblower House, and we very, very seldom, as a rule, let me be very clear, we do not share names of our clients. We are so strict with that if Aaron had to introduce somebody to us and say, somebody needs help, if Aaron calls and asks, how is that particular person doing, we actually don't even discuss whether the person is with us or not. That's just purely how we operate. We don't do that. We don't confirm. And we have had a number, and as we grew over the last few years, we had a number of people referring people to us. And then when they want to check up on the individuals, we say, no, we do not talk. But that person can give you feedback. We specifically asked Siseko to just share a little bit about his journey, about what he went through, his history, a little bit about the whistleblowing. So not discuss the whistleblowing process deeply, but just give a background, but then focus on the journey as a whistleblower in partnership with the Whistleblower House. And I'm hoping that you understand every whistleblower across the world goes through deep emotional when they go through the journey. They suffer. Their families suffer. They suffer financially. Their futures are broken because they can't find jobs. It's a very difficult journey. And for Siseko to stand up today and talk to that point takes huge courage. And I, for one, just want to acknowledge that. And I'm hoping that as you listen to his journey and to his words, think about what him and his family went through and is going still through today. Thank you for that. Siseko, I hand over to you.
Good morning to the people of the world, and good morning to the people who have made this day to be such a success. When I started this journey with some of my colleagues, I never thought that one day I will find myself having to address the world. We're just doing it out of love for our country, out of the human damage we saw is going to be caused to the unsuspecting people of our city. I have been requested by the whistleblower to come and share my story today and the change that the KMS, that is knowledge management system, is gonna make to this important organization. So I will be sharing my story, not necessarily to tell the whistleblowers difficulties that they encounter, but mainly to assist those who would then choose one day to follow the decision I have made, how careful they should be, how they should have a trust on themselves more than the system that is so fraught and infiltrated by cartels and all the stuff which I never thought of that they should be probably involved in my case. Well, let me start by telling my story, how I came to know about the Whistleblower House. It was towards the third quarter of 2022, while I was employed by Mogale City Municipality as a manager, municipal governance support services, for which part of my responsibility or job profile entailed supporting the Municipal Public Accounts Committee, which we called it MPAC. This MPAC was responsible for oversight functions, which included investigating unauthorized, irregular, and fruitless wasteful expenditure incurred by the municipality, and to hold those who are responsible liable, which would include dismissing employees that are involved and reporting those councillors that also get involved by involving themselves in these kinds of activities. But what happened was, during this period, I saw a growing number of colleagues from a level of medium and senior executive managers of the municipalities coming to my office to come and report that because we had a new municipal manager then who had just been appointed 3 weeks, so there was already these people flocking my office to come and report to me that look, you as the person in charge of the staff that supports the Municipal Public Accounts Committee, you have to come to our rescue, because at the end of the day, you are going to look who have done wrong, and only to find it points to me, whereas I was not involved. So what then happened was that they would come to my office. One came, 2, 3 of them in my office one day to report that the accounting officer on 27, 28, and 29 May 2022, just 3 weeks after his appointment, he appointed 2 consulting engineering companies and 5 contractors to execute what we call a 10K 10-key project. So there were about 5 10-key projects, which he then appointed these in total 7 companies. And he appointed them at a cost of 2 billion rands without following the legislative procurement procedures that are set there for the country and all the municipalities and state organs to say, follow this or we will deal with you. So what he did is he appointed these companies without following such a legislative processes, which requires him to procure goods and services of the government through transparent, cost-effective, fair, equitable manner, ensuring value for money through an open bidding process that reflects a competitive price. So what he did was he just appointed those people whom we were told are government contractors and in fact are ruling party contractors, not a government, I will be wrong, that are associated to some senior people in the government. But I played down that notion to say senior people are involved because I honestly didn't believe. However, he went on to violate when he was appointing, attaching the act that he has used to include Regulation 36 that allows him as an accounting officer to appoint service providers without following a normal procurement procedure, on condition that it is of emergency, like you find that there is fire burning, you need one of the services to come and assist. Then where it is also impossible to do so. So it was possible. He had absolutely no reason not to follow the processes. And also one other thing that my colleagues had a problem with was that he violated Section 35 of the Supply Chain Management that requires him to procure through competitive bids if the value of the appointment will exceed 200. Those he was appointing, there were millions and millions of rands, but he would appoint them without going through a competitive bidding. Then what he also did in one of the companies, he appointed such a company without following the prescriptions of the CIDB. So that company didn't qualify to do such a massive work. But what was making one of my colleagues so angry was that he gave an advance payment of 15 million to buy material for the construction of one landfill site. Then he did this appointment. I mean, he gave this advance payment to the person who is well known in the municipality to be his girlfriend's brother. That is the municipal girlfriend's brother. And then that money went missing. He didn't even try to go. He said he didn't receive it. Yet every document was showing that the money was sent to him. So that matter, we raised it, is before the courts now. Then also, what the municipal manager was doing, that is the accounting officer, interchangeable, the minister, the MM or municipal manager is an accounting office. The other thing that he did was these companies, because they were so contemptuous of the internal project managers, that is the project managers who look at whether they have done what they are supposed to do, they would then submit inflated invoices to say, pay me for the work that they have not done or they have not completed. So then when the internal project managers refuse to pay, they will go to the municipal manager. The municipal manager will give the internal project managers an instruction, just that pay, that's not your problem. I will answer, not you. So it became a problem for these people to do that, because at the end of the day, they have to attach their signatures. So that led them to come to me, and as I was responsible for all these irregular expenses, to say, here is what we are encountering, you're going to come to us. Then from there, I said, okay, bring me all the documents to substantiate or to back up what you are saying. And willingly, within a day, all of the brought documents to my office. Then I had a chat with one senior procurement practitioner to say, but you people know, as a matter of fact, that the MPEC that is supposed to challenge the MM is a toothless dog, if not captured. I have been submitting so many documents of the same nature you are bringing, but not at this level. They have not done anything. I would plead with them that we must act. They wouldn't do anything. Then this procurement practitioner said to me, look here, I do have a solution to your problem. I said, what is the solution? She said, there is a whistleblower house that you can take your whole information that we are bringing here and bring it to the attention of the whistleblower house. They will advise us how we must go forward. But to me, that was a new institution that I've never heard of. And I told him that I don't know about Whistleblower House. She said, go and Google. You will find their services there. You will find the contacts, and they will be able to help us in this whole route. Should we be caught? At the time, there was also a senior executive manager of economic services who also brought her own stories to my office. So they were listening. She was listening to this one as she was talking. This one said to me, we at the executive level, when we have a meeting with the MM, we are so afraid to tell him about, to confront him about this, because he's intimidating us that he has got the deputy president on his side and other dangerous people. So they wouldn't dare to challenge him. So then what I did was, I said to them, then she suggested that what I needed to do is to follow the Protected Disclosure Act 26 of 2000 and take this matter and report them to the relevant institutions above the municipality. And then she suggested the Auditor General and the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister. Then what I said to them was, what I will do is to follow both, because both, it would appear to me that they have got the same intent to stop this kind of these illicit activities that are happening in our municipality. Indeed, I went to look for the Whistleblower House. I felt so stupid that I don't know about what is glaring in the computer every day, that I didn't know about this Whistleblower House. Then that was after I Googled it. Well, I found then that what they were offering was legal assistance, finance, and the psychological services, which I believed that I will need should I be caught. There was no thing like the knowledge management system, that is KMS, within the Whistleblower House. So the only person who I could say was doing the same job as, or was the toolbox, as is explained in this KMS, was a liaising manager. I don't know, her name was Stembel, the surname then. I contacted her to advise her about what is happening. And she advised me to be very careful as I was entering a danger zone, warned me not to share the information loosely to anyone and be very careful of the very people I believe I have to report these matters internally. Well, what I did was that I agreed with her and I said I will be careful. And I explained to her that there is also a view that this I must report also to the delegated institutions above the municipality. She said, but you need to be careful. What I did was I went to the chairperson of the MPEC, knowing quite well that they are a toothless dog. They won't do anything. But I said, before I can go to the senior institution, I must have consulted, because I know they will ask me, have you consulted? Have you reported this internally? So what I met with this chairperson was quite shocking. This chairperson of MPEC, he was an EFF member. He said to me, look here, Mr. Sietula, what I can tell you is all these companies you have pointed out, my bosses, that is my political bosses that I report to, have an interest in those companies because they have subcontracted their families and their friends. And should I dare push for MPEC to charge it, they are going to deal with me, that they are going to dismiss me. Therefore, I'm so sorry, go to the mayor rather, to hold the municipal manager accountable, as it is him who is responsible, who the mayor, the municipal manager is reporting to. That is the accounting office. Indeed, I went to the mayor. The mayor, immediately I came and explained all what is being done, that there is a deputy president name that is thrown in, that is Paul Mashatile, and in the box of what is going on here. He said to me, look, Mr. Siotula, I cannot take any step against the municipal manager, because what is going to happen is I'm going to be criticized of interfering with the procurement of services to the municipality, of which the Municipal Finance Management Act prohibits councillors. He said, I am a councillor. What I would rather advise you is, if there is criminal activity on what you are reporting, as I have a legal background, he said, go and report it to the police as per the law prescribes. Well, that's when then I said, well, it appears I'm not getting any assistance here. So then I went back to the Whistleblower House. I was then referred by the Whistleblower House to an admin to assist me. Then, because I made a commitment that I'm gonna follow both the Whistleblower House and what the Economic Services Senior Director directed me to do. Then I sent the whole information to the lawyer of the Whistleblower House that was allocated to me, including the whistleblower report that I compiled, and all these things that were brought to me. But however, where I can say I started to make a mistake, which if probable the KMS was there, I would not have done that mistake. And also driven by emotions, just before I could give the lawyer to respond or to advise what then I should be doing, because I made that commitment with the ladies, I then decided on the 15th of November, 2023, to submit a whistleblower report to the Office of the Auditor General in Pretoria. I went there in person. And on the 18th of November, I submitted the same report to the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. On the 20th of November, again, I then received a call from one of the colleagues who was an expenditure manager who knew about what was happening, telling me that he or she was in the office of the MM, that is the municipal manager, and she had municipal manager so angry, asking the director of corporate services to charge me and to immediately suspend me because I'm not needed in his administration. Then I called the gentleman who I reported this whole thing in fact, MM mentioned that I have been to the office of the Auditor General, and this was leaked to him by a person he knows. I then called this person, I gave the information to say, but why did you do this? Why am I now getting this? I am about to be suspended. That has been brought. Why did you do? He said to me, no, remember that we were auditing your municipality. I sent this information to the head of that group that is auditing your municipality. It could be them who have then leaked it to the municipal manager. But he said he's going to investigate what happened. But that was the end, because when I tried to call him then after, he never took my phone. Indeed, I was suspended on the 21st of November. Following the suspension, I was then on the 21st of December served with a notice to appear before the disciplinary hearing on the 15th of January 2024. By then, I was hospitalized because I was so depressed. I really felt that I probably could have followed what whistleblower advised me to take things slowly, but I was driven by emotions to rush and send this whole thing to the state departments. And by then, I was not aware of how much infiltrated are these departments by the cartels that were in charge, that were the actual owner of all these companies that MM gave them a 2 billion work. So then I began to realize that I am in trouble, and I was then admitted in hospital. And then when I was supposed to be attending the case on the 15th. I was in hospital. So then I was discharged. I believe it was on the 1st of February. And the case was then reconvened, and the date was set for 27 February 2022. But before the date, we could sit on the 20th of February, the municipal manager decided to fire me. That is, to dismiss me before I could be heard why I did what I did. Well, it was then that I approached the Whistleblower House to ask for legal assistance. And without wasting any time, I would say the toolbox of Ms. Temple acted accordingly, because she was already aware, and then she promised me that the lawyers are going to call me, who are going to assist me. Indeed, the lawyers called me, and by then I was already dismissed, so we went to challenge the dismissal at the arbitration of the local government. Whilst this matter was continuing, as it protracted for quite some time, the depression came back. So now I didn't have medical aid to meet the medical bills or to even go to the private psychologist. I shared my problem with a whistleblower, Ms. Tembe. Once again, she didn't hesitate. She said, I must wait for a call from a psychologist. And indeed, a psychologist called me and we set up a date. Then I went to see her, and then she began to communicate with me, because by then, all the people I was involved with in all this, that is the senior managers, were so afraid to talk to me. I was literally alone. I didn't have anybody to talk to. Then beginning to talk to this psychologist that Ms. Temple organized for me brought so much of a relief in me, because she was giving me an opportunity to express how I feel. Do I feel like killing myself and all the stuff, of which some thoughts of that nature would come as to, I don't see light here. And she would try and give me light that, wait a minute, there is going to be light, be assured. However, the case protracted for over a year. By then, I was represented by Whistleblower House attorneys. In fact, attorneys that were appointed by the whistleblower. As the case was protracting, the commissioner advised the two parties, that is the employer and myself, the employer on behalf of the accounting office, that guys, try and settle this matter. It's a difficult matter, but assist me, try and settle this matter. And then we adjourned. I had then a conversation with my legal team from the whistleblower who were representing me. They said, you know, here you have not done anything wrong. You have not, by any chance, went outside the law, but there is a challenge about our sources of law, which include some sections of Labor Relations Act and the decided case by the Constitutional Court of Stomo, where the Constitutional Court instructed all the subordinates courts, including the commissioners, that before you can make a decision to reinstate an employee, no matter how innocent he is, you have to determine whether the relationship of trust has not irretrievably broken down. That is what I shared with a lady from the Whistleblower House, that there is a problem about that act, because that act doesn't say in determining so. The Constitutional Court didn't say you must also look at who has caused the relationship of trust to be irretrievable, to have irretrievable broken down. It only says, please look at it. If it is so, therefore you can't reinstate the employee. Then my lawyers came to me to say so, that they doubt that the relationship of trust between me and accounting officer who represent the employer, that it has not irretrievably broken down. They doubt that they will be able to convince the commissioner or the labor court that it has not broken down. Then to convince me further, not necessarily to convince me, they then said, look here, the employer, as we had, because they will go and comply with the employer is prepared to reverse the dismissal verdict against me, which was making it difficult for me to look for another job, because another job would require, more especially at my level, that I should, they may require to call my previous employer, so they agreed that they will reverse it. Then they also offered to pay me about 2.1 million. Having digested this persuasive argument from my lawyers, and having considered the practical realities of the legal process, my ongoing financial and personal pressures, and the desire to resolve the matter without further protracted conflict, I decided to agree to the settlement. And I immediately signed to the dotted lines of the agreement that they then agreed upon with the employer. My apologies for that. Then what happened then was that once the employer agreed, I mean, after I signed, they were supposed to pay in 7 days. I received a call from my lawyers to say, hey, the municipality is refusing to pay as we have agreed upon. They are saying you need to write a clear apology that what you did, you were wrong. Well, I refused to do so at first hand, to apologize. I declined because I strongly believe that I did what I was supposed to do, that I believe that the very person who must make such an apology to the people of Mogale is the accounting officer, because I have the proof of everything that he did. What an apology that I'm asked now to. So then what happened was the Whistleblower House legal team has allocated to me, approached the arbitration to convert the award. To convert the agreement into an award. And then from there, they approached the CCMA to certify the award as enforceable. That is, so that they can approach a sheriff to go and sell the property of the municipality to pay what we have agreed upon. Weeks went on, more than a month. There was no response from CCMA. I decided, I think it was after a month or 2 weeks, that let me go there, because now it was after my car was repossessed. I went there to ask what is going on now, just to put a signature and certify the award. I'm losing here. My child is going to be, who is doing a matric in a private school, is going to be chased out end of the month. What is going on here? Then they said they don't have my award with them. I said, how come? Because they said they've sent it to you. Then he called, the lady who was attending to me called them, the arbitration, and only to her surprise, they have sent it to the wrong email address, even though they have been working together for many years. She even said she is quite surprised. This is completely a surprise to her. So then she then instructed those people to send my award. The award was sent. She said she's going to take it to the commissioner who is delegated to sign, to either two commissioners who are delegated to sign such enforcement, that is a certificate enforcement of the award. She said by a day after, she is going to send all that certified certificate and the fourth to me, so that I can go and fetch the money. I can use, then take it to my attorneys. Well, a day that she gave me went past, a week went past without me receiving the certified award. Well, by then I knew that the state has been infiltrated, because under normal circumstances it wouldn't be. Then I called her to say, but what is going on now? She said, I went to the commissioner's house. I was told is admitted. And then I went to the other one. I was told is attending cases at regional court. I said, but at a region. But why don't you take it to him to sign it? Well, she said she's going to try so. Another day, another week went past. Up to today, I have not received that certified award, so that we can enforce to raise the money that the municipality owes me. So in closing on that part, my lawyers said I must go there again Friday this week. But I don't know what else they are going to do, because now I believe that the CCMA, there is somebody who is in control of what they are doing, because the very same Paul Mashatile has got lawyers. He established a legal firm that is assisting the municipality, which is against me as well. But any person they deploy to do what they are doing, he is protected by this company. So they know the ins and outs. So, and they know the people because they have been there. So I've got no doubts that they are probably involved in derailing this so as to break me. But what I am currently facing is, one, my car has been taken a week ago, but is the financial pressures. The bank, which is Absa Bank, where I took a home loan, has taken me to court on the 13th of this month. They want to repossess their house, but the whistleblower lawyers are there. We all don't know if the magistrate, I mean the judge, because it's in High Court, will agree to our argument. Because what happened was the house that I have has got, the property I have has got about 9 rooms. So what I did was to try and get tenants to come and occupy this house. So about 9 tenants, I mean about 5 tenants are now occupying that house, this house, from the 1st of this October. So they are paying 28,000 in total, because I had to reduce the amount, even though I'm staying in the high market area, just to get the amount. The other 4 rooms, they need me to finalize the touch-ups, which could go over 50,000 to finish. And then I finish, I will have 47,000. So that is part of what my lawyers will probably present. So I did that as part of building up again my life, because I've got no other option but to continue with my life, no matter how difficult. So I have decided to give the house out for renting because of trying to build my life. But the difficulty that the lawyers have raised, an advocate said, is that if there was a miracle that I get that money before the 13th, or if somebody can believe me and give me this 250,000, so they can settle the outstanding amount, and then put this argument that he does have money to continue paying you, because I'm supposed to be paying 22,000. So he said it will be better, but we are trying to push them. I don't have anybody to borrow me that 250. I don't know if I will then be taken out of the house by then. But to conclude my story, I would then like to say, probably if there was knowledge management system by then, with all these journalists, academics, and researchers that are involved, as well as organization, I would have done better, because there was absolutely no information at the time that was available, except our toolbox, Mr. Mill, who did everything a human being can do to assist me. As it was not only me alone. At some stage, as I was communicating with her, she said, "We don't even have offices now." I said, "My goodness, how should I trust what she is saying?" But anyway, I was then happy. She did everything a human being can do. But with KMS now, after I read what it then is all about. I realized that, as I repeat, that I would have acted much wiser and much more careful. That I am where I am, but I don't regret, by the way, because that was the case there. An initiative was taken, at least to assist us. But what I've seen with this Whistleblower House knowledge hub is that it is more likely, in fact, it is a comprehensive toolbox that allows experts and communities to share information, document processes, store institutional knowledge, exchange best practices, and collaborate more effectively with whistleblowers, because it's so better to know. Miss Stembel will tell you and advise you. Once she drops her phone and you are under pressure, you forget all what she said. You can't go back to her and say, Miss Stembel, can you please help me? Because she was helping a lot of people. But now with this knowledge hub that also we are able to look at case studies, find the information, guidebooks, training material, webinars, relevant legislatures, research, video library, and support library, as Erin explained it in details earlier. I've got no doubts that people won't falter like I did, because I do take a responsibility that somewhere and somehow I faltered through the emotions that I am now without a job. Should I have probably kept in mind everything that Ms. Temple told me, I believe I would be at work today, but I was not doing anything wrong. So in closing, I'm sorry to be closing, and again, I believe in my all observation that the knowledge hub is going to bring much of a change and the influence. I'm sure also Ms. Temel, wherever she is, she's not overwhelmed by all the calls I was making to her every day, but she was patient, she understood, she had eyes to see before I could see even what I was going on. So I believe that Knowledge Hub can also do much better. In my view, I'm not sure of the attitude of the founders of this institution, that they must consider much more especially the communications, the power of media, having to confront with the lawyers that whistleblowers are offering to confront your enemy, or so to say, because we become enemies, and be the only beneficiary without looking at the actual beneficiaries that I believe triggered the formation of the whistleblowers, which is the ordinary people. I feel that there is somewhere and somehow, I don't know, where I believe the people need to be more exposed through the media. We have journalists here today and academics. that are aligned on the side of whistleblowers. So in conclusion, I would say that they need to be alert of the services and who they have succeeded or are assisting, so that they can give a support as well. Because our people are so ignorant. They don't even know about the Whistleblower House, like I didn't know. So I thank you very much. Thank you very much, people of the world, for listening to me. Thank you.
Siseko, thank you for that. Kind words, wonderful story. Anybody who listened to this, and I can see the comments, absolutely comment about your energy, your strength, courageous, and the willingness to keep on going. I can see the comments coming through of people just saying they're thinking of you, that you are in their prayers, etc. Thank you for sharing. It is not an easy process to live the experience that you did. It's not an easy experience to share that because it's painful. You relive the pain that you did there. I thank you from my side, and I thank you from the Whistleblower House side. Siseko spoke very eloquently about the services we provide and the help that was provided, etc. I just want to put on record that there are only 4 people working in the Whistleblower House. We have today, at the end of August, September, we're in October now, 418 Sisekos that we've helped. 418. And we are 4 people. We need, and one of the reasons why we put and invested in the KMS is so that the information and the resources are available, immaterial whether we as individuals and human beings are available or not, because the resource must be available day and night, 24 hours a day, because you don't know when somebody else will need that. Our plea to the people, and at the moment there's 106 people on the call, my plea, my personal plea as CEO of the Whistleblowers, is share the information. Siseko, in his rallying call now, said he wished that we could talk and communicate wider to tell people about that. I can assure you, Siseko, we try every day to tell people. We're on TV, we're on radio, telling people about the Whistleblowers. But we're also acutely aware that the financial resources that we have are limited. So it does not help 1,000 people coming knocking on our doors, and then they complain that we can't help them. We are now in a new funding cycle. We have applied for money, and we're hoping that money will come through. So 2 things. The one is communicate with the people, talk to people, and say, contact the Whistleblowers. And then and the name Whistleblowers is very easy to remember, and the website is very simple, whistleblowerhouse.org. And in there, you will have a support tab. You can go to the KMS section, the knowledge management section, and you can actually download. It's free information. Our services that we provide to Siseko did not cost Siseko a cent. Siseko not a cent, because all the money that we raise go to whistleblowers. Our service we provide are free to the whistleblower, and we want to grow our services. We want to reach out into South Africa to help other people, because we absolutely do not want people to suffer, and we are trying our utmost best. Thank you for joining us. 108 people on the call right now. Thank you for staying with us. The fact that you stayed with Siseko tells me that you found his story absolutely ending. Siseko, thank you once again for sharing. It was not an easy journey for you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. All I can ask is spread the word. If you have an ability to arrange funding to us, the funds that we use is the story that Siseko told you. That's what we use it for. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week. Stay blessed. Help in South Africa, please. We need to save our country. Thank you.